Hey guys, some of you already know that I lost my beloved uncle last week, very suddenly, and I got this heartbreaking text from my cousin, his one daughter, last night, where she said, oh man, I wish I had told him to take better care of himself. I wish I had made a bigger deal of it. Maybe I didn't say the right things. Maybe I could have helped him change. And that really got me thinking. It got me thinking about the topic of what is so hard about change? Why is it so difficult for people to make a change? And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I spent a bunch of time this morning really thinking about it and digging deep. And what I'm going to share with you are the three essential ingredients for change. The three essential ingredients. And then I'm also going to walk you through a simple process that takes no more than 10 minutes a day. No more than 10 minutes a day. But add it up over a series of days, like you do it consistently, could completely change your life for the better. No matter what your goal is, no matter what it is you want to change, this works. I know because I've done it, because tons of my clients have done it, my friends have done it. Like this is the thing, all right? So for those of you that are joining me early, and I thank you guys for being here, I actually created a little cheat sheet that you can download that lets you go through this process with me and that you can use after the broadcast. So if you want to grab that, the URL, you want to go to clubmartify.com, so C-L-U-B, Martify, M-A-R-T-F, oh my gosh, I'm totally doing that wrong. Sorry, it's bit.ly/clubmartify, so bit.ly/clubmartify, and Martify is spelled M-A-R-T-A-F-Y. So you can get that download there. I want you to have that because that's going to help you apply this process, repeat this process, and get the change happening. All right? Okay. So why is it so hard to change? Ever think about this? Like, we all set New Year's resolutions and we set goals, and a lot of them don't happen. And change is hard, whether it's at a personal level or at an organizational level or at a country, community level. It's painful. We resist it. Here are the essential ingredients to move it forward. Like, whether you want to create change in your personal life, just for you, a goal you have, or in your business, or in your career, or in your love life, or with your finances, or regardless, this is the recipe, the essential ingredients. Number one, you need to get really clear on why. Right? Like, we set a lot of goals for ourselves. Sometimes we set up New Year's resolutions that we think make sense. Or we say, I want to lose 20 pounds, but we don't have a good why. Right? I mean, we have a superficial why, or like, oh, I would feel better in my jeans, or I would look better when I went out, or whatever. But we don't really dig deep into that. But why is so important? Because the truth is that most change happens when you're on one side of the spectrum, inspiration or desperation, right? So you're either super driven and motivated and inspired, like something has just like kicked you in the butt and just made you feel like, I need to do this, it has to happen. Or on the flip side, you've hit the proverbial rock bottom and you're like, I can't take another day of this, right? You could also call it pleasure and pain as the spectrum, as the extremes, right? Our desire to have more pleasure, to feel good, or our desire to avoid pain. So inspiration and desperation, that's at least how I look at it. Those are the triggers for change that no one can resist. Like, that just makes it happen. But we don't always live in those places, and there are changes that we could, should, would want to make that you know, aren't like spending time in those places. You're not quite at one of those extremes. Okay, so what do you do with that? Well, you need to come up with your why. And so the way that I approach this, and what I want you to do is I want you to think about, and if you've downloaded the PDF, if like those of you guys who got here early, if you downloaded the PDF, it will actually walk you through this, and you will start with the question of why, right? Like what is the change that you want to make specifically, for starters, right? Like what is the thing? You want to identify that and get clear on that. And then why is this important to you? How will you feel once you've made this change? How will your life change? How will it affect your health, your family, your relationships, your finances? How it'll affect your level of joy and confidence? You gotta get clear on the why. And the more specific and clear you can get on the why, and of course the what, the easier it will be to actually make that change happen. All right, so essential ingredient number 1 is understanding why you want to make the change. I'm just assuming you know the what, so I'm not even putting that as an essential ingredient, because if there's something you want to change, no matter what it is in your life, you know what it is, you're just not doing it. So the first essential ingredient to making that change is understanding the why, being very, very clear about your reason for it and how it will feel to have achieved it, how it will impact your life, how it will impact your family, your finances, your career, your business, your state of mind, your body, all of it, okay? The second essential ingredient is focus. So focus, it's interesting because I've learned about focus in a very like practical, tactile way. Like we talk about focus all the time, right? Like you should focus, focus. I have a hard time with that. A little bit of ADD kind of thing going on, which I think a lot of us have these days with the amount of information coming at us all the time. But there's this expression that I've heard Tony Robbins, who's one of my favorite motivational speakers and coaches, say, which is energy flows where focus goes. And when I took a motorcycle training class, I learned to ride a motorcycle a couple years ago. One of the things the instructors kept saying over and over again was, you have to look at where you want to go, not where you are afraid to go. Focus, right? So you're going to focus on your destination, your desired outcome, on that thing you want to achieve, not on the thing that's right in front of you that's stopping you. And I think that's another big reason why change is so hard, because most of us focus on the problem. We focus on where we're stuck. We focus on where we're hurting. We're focusing on why it's not fair and why it's not happening, or we focus on this other person who has what we want or who's living the life that we dream of, and we're not. We focus on that. And so we get more of that. Now, the reason why I brought up the motorcycle example is because literally when you're driving this like 400 to 800 pound machine with an engine and nothing between you and the ground but a little bit of leather maybe and a helmet maybe, depending on where you live, the only thing between you and that is you, like your focus, your ability to focus on where you want to go versus focusing on where you're afraid to end up. So if I'm making a sharp right turn and I'm looking at the ground and I'm looking at the sharpness of the right turn and I'm looking at the cliff on the left side that I might fall off of, guess what's probably going to happen? I'm going to freeze. I'm going to blow it. I'm going to fall off that cliff, or I'm going to like drop the bike on the right side turning too sharply. But if I'm focusing on the place I want to go, that beautiful spot right down the road that's a couple curves away, and I'm looking at that, that's where my body's going to take me. Even before I learned to ride a motorcycle, I thought about this in terms of bike riding, which is another place where I've had many accidents. I haven't had any accidents on the motorcycle, just to be clear, in case if that came out wrong. But on the bike, if you look at the ditch next to the side of the road, you end up in the ditch. This has literally happened to me. So focus. Focus is essential ingredient number 2. And you know, it's just as simple as thinking about that end result you want, which is why the first ingredient was so important, right? What is it that you want and why do you want it? And can you imagine what life will be like when you're actually there? When you have achieved that goal or made that change? What will that feel like? That's where your focus needs to be. Not on the obstacles in the way or the reasons why you don't have it or why so-and-so already did it and it's too late and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that like we say to ourselves that blocks us. Okay? You gotta make it a priority, but in this fashion, not just time priority, mental priority. The third important ingredient is consistency. Consistency. Yeah, it's like doing it day after day. So I think most of us fall into the camp of feeling like, I want to, back to my example, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to quit smoking. I want to make more money. I want to start a business. I want to have a baby, whatever it is. Like that's the goal. And our why gets sort of forgotten or blended into other things. And our focus goes to why it's not happening. And then we maybe are like, okay, I'm going to do this, right? I set my New Year's resolution. I set my goal. And so I'm going to do this for the next 10 days. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to relax. I'm going to work on my business plan, whatever it is. And then, you know, those 5 or 10 days go back and, oh my God, we don't have the result we want yet. We haven't lost 20 pounds in 10 days. We haven't, you know, started a business that's supporting our family. We haven't done it. And then we go, oh, forget it. I'm just going to go back to pleasure. I'm going to go back to the other state because it's not working. But consistency is the answer. If you talk to anyone who has succeeded in life, who has mastered something, who, you know, probably think of any of your role models, any of the people you look up to or read about or, you know, see as your heroes. Their success is not just about raw talent or luck, although those things certainly help. Consistency is a definite factor in 100% of those cases. And consistency can be baby steps. It doesn't have to be an overnight, I did this amazing thing. Overnight, no. It's just about baby steps. It's little steps. Think about this in terms of the math of it, right? If you make a 1% change, like you do something, like 1% of your life is a little bit more tweaked towards the goal that you want to accomplish, towards the change you want to make. What does that look like in 10 weeks, in 52 weeks, in 365 days, in 3 years? You know, if you map that to dollars, and you could pull out the compound calculator and look at what this looks like. If you invest, let's say $1, and you have a 1% interest rate, what does that look like over time? $10, $100, right? So the more you put in, actually, the more. But the baby steps are essential, and the consistency of that makes a difference. And furthermore, if you drop the ball, right, even if you've been investing that consistently and then you take a week off, the numbers change dramatically. It's a compoundable, not sure that's a word, a compound interest type of thing where consistency really makes a difference. So those are your 3 essential ingredients, right? Understanding why, like what is the reason, what is the impact, what is the desired outcome, how will that change your life? Focusing on the desired outcome, not on the obstacles. We'll get to those in a minute. And then finally, consistently taking action. And they can be small actions. And so what I'm going to share with you in the next couple of minutes is these steps to doing that in like less than 10 minutes a day. If you just do this 10 minutes a day or less, I promise you that in very short order, and certainly over the course of, say, the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, massive difference can happen, massive changes, and all the things that you think of when you think of what would it be like when I get there will be there. Cool? All right, so those of you who are here and are listening, whether you're live or you're listening to this later as the recorded version of this broadcast, if this is resonating with you, if you're getting this and you're like, this matters to me, or I know someone that needs to hear this, please, 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 please share this with them. you can press the little share button, or you can just tag the person in the comment section. Please do that, because I want to help as many people as I can, and also I want to help you. So you can also comment and ask me questions. I'll be coming back to the recorded version of this broadcast for at least the next couple days to see what other questions have come up. I'm not going to leave you hanging, in other words. Okay? So get there. Okay. Oh, I never introduced myself. So a lot of you guys know me, and those of you who don't, my name is Marta Kagan. And I am the founder of a program called Ace the Pitch, and I run a company where I help entrepreneurs and executives launch their products, launch their brands, build billion-dollar businesses, tell their stories in the most remarkable way possible. But before I did that, which I've been doing for a while, I was a coach, a success coach, a life, career, and business coach. And I spent my days talking to people about why they can't make a change, why they have this goal, this dream, this thing that they want that's causing them pain, and they're not doing anything about it. They're stuck. And I helped folks start million-dollar businesses. I help folks change careers, find relationships, end relationships that needed to be ended, like make it happen. So I know this is a departure from what Mortify Inc. is really about, but this is so important to me. And after losing my uncle last week, and you know, just sort of makes you think about life and what changes we all want to make, this was a very personal thing I wanted to share with you. So anyway, thank you for joining me. So let's talk about the actual process, right? So we have the 3 essential ingredients. And again, if you join this broadcast late, you can go back and watch the recording. It'll be posted on my page in a little while, and you'll get those 3 ingredients. And maybe you'll even hear the URL to that cheat sheet that I promised you guys. Let's talk about what it actually takes. How do you change your life in 10 minutes a day? Okay, here's what you're gonna do. If you don't have the cheat sheet, it's okay. Just grab a pen and paper and you're gonna write this down. Or you can re-listen to the beginning and get the URL. So step 1 is to get very clear on what it is you want to change. I know that sounds like duh, but it surprises me how often people are vague about what that is. Like, I want to be happier. I want to meet a man. I want to feel more free. I want to have a career that's fulfilling. Okay, those are all fine and good and reasonable and normal wishes and goals, but until you make it specific, until you are very clear about what you want, the universe is kind of going blah, 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 blah. This is noise. So you need to get real specific. So step 1 is to identify what is it that you want. And the way that I suggest you do this is to actually take pen and paper. Our brains work differently when we write stuff down versus texting it, typing it, talking about it, thinking about it. Pen and paper. That's why you might want the cheat sheet. Describe specifically what is the change you want to see happen. And more importantly, paint a picture of the desired outcome and how you will actually measure that improvement or that change, right? Like, don't just give me, I will be exercising all the time. Like, I will be working out 5 times a week. I will have changed my business, whatever it is, be specific. Okay, that's step 1. Be really clear about the what. Step 2, get clear on the why, right? This was essential ingredient number 1, but it's step number 2 in actually making this happen in 10 minutes a day. And so here I want you to think about, okay, why is this important to you? How will you feel when you've actually made this change, when it's done? Like, it's done, you're living that life. How will it impact your family, your health, your finances, your household, your joy, your confidence, whatever? Like, really get clear about that. I personally like to sketch and doodle stuff. Sometimes I will make little collages. People do vision boards, like whatever works for you. But the point is, you want to get clear on seeing and feeling and understanding how it will feel to be there. Okay? So that's step number 2, is getting really, really, really clear on the why. Step number 3 is to get real about the obstacles. Like, what is holding you back? What's getting in your way? For a lot of us, it's it's actually not resources, which was what we tend to think about. We tend to say, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the freedom, I don't have the knowledge. But the truth is, it's really about our resourcefulness, not our resources. Because there are people who are way more disadvantaged than you and I out there who are doing incredible things and making changes. And the difference between them and us isn't that they're smarter or better or have more talent. I mean, they might in certain realms, but the real difference in terms of why they can make this change and you and I haven't is their resourcefulness. And so this is where I want you to really think about what's getting in your way in terms of the things you think, your beliefs, the stuff you believe about yourself. Oh, I'm really not that creative. Oh, I have ADD and so I can't get focused. You know, I'm not really that smart. I didn't get an MBA. I'm a single mom. I don't have time. I've got 4 children. Those are all legitimate obstacles. I'm not downplaying them, but I want you to identify them really clearly, because in the next step, we're gonna look at how you can solve at least some of them, or how you can at least make them less significant so that you can move towards this. So you've got to get really clear on what the obstacles are. And it's not just, right? It's like, here are the real things standing in my way. Here's what's getting in my way. I don't believe I can do it. I am afraid. I am stuck. I'm not motivated. I feel like I don't have any time. I feel like nobody's supporting me. Whatever that is, like, just lay it out there, right? But like, lay it out there so you can address it. Okay, so that was step 3, is to identify the obstacles and also the resources that you need. Do you need professional help? Do you need a certain kind of knowledge? Do you need accountability? Do you need people to support you in this decision? Whatever that is, let's just lay it out. Okay, and then your next step is to brainstorm some solutions. This is where resourcefulness comes in, right? It's not just about resources, it's about resourcefulness. So this is where you get to start to get the creative juices flowing, as they say. Like, what are some possible ways you can deal with these? And you might not have an answer for every obstacle, right? If you're a single mom and you're really struggling just to get through the day and to make ends meet, to take care of your child, I get it. You might not be like, well, and then I will go get another job, or like, it's not necessarily that simple. But I bet you in that list of things that are getting in your way, some of them you can deal with. Some of them are things you're thinking up here. It's the soundtrack you're playing. It's the beliefs that you've taken on and decided, oh, yep, I'm just not that creative. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to meet a man. I'm never going to meet a man that appreciates me. Whatever it is, right? So some of it you definitely can deal with. And that's what I want you to do in this 4th step, is brainstorm some solutions. Just like spit out there whatever comes to mind, all the possibilities. People you might want to talk to, people that you know that have done what you want to do. Right? Success leaves clues. If you know someone that's living the life you want to live, ask them. Ask them, how did you do this? How did you get out of this situation and into this one? What advice do you have for me? There are books, there are YouTube videos, like there's any number of people that can help you. There's lots and lots and lots of options, but you have to get resourceful. You have to take just a couple minutes to really think about this. Okay, so brainstorming possible solutions. And then the final step, and this is where, this is the 10 minutes a day part. This is where the change really happens, right? So you know what you want, you know why you want it, you know what's standing in your way. You've got some ideas for how you can overcome those standing in your way things. But now what are you gonna do? Because there's a lot of things that we can do, right? All of us have huge potential. Like what people are able to do is incredible. What people have done is incredible. But what you will actually do, that's what makes the difference, right? Like, I can become a marathon runner. I can train for the New York Marathon or the Boston Marathon. I can do that, but will I do it? Does that map back to what I want to change and why I want it and how it will affect my life? Am I willing to look at the obstacles standing in my way and do those things? So what you can do is what matters. And so this is where it is. So it's about taking one small step. Remember how I was saying before that like most change is overwhelming to most of us because it feels like, oh my God, it's this huge thing. Like I need to I need to change I need to do all this work. Break it down into baby bites. It's like when I had my first child, and I would, you don't put like a steak in front of him. He can't eat the steak. You have to cut it into like little teeny tiny baby bits, right? He's just learning how to eat food. He's never had solid food like this before, right? And he's flinging half of it on the floor. He's picking up his blueberries and he's squishing them, but then he's putting them in his mouth. Like, this is how we actually create change. It does not have to be a sweeping giant movement where you walk into your boss's office and you're like, I quit, I am starting my dream business. You don't have to do it that way. So what I'm challenging you to do is to think about what is one small thing you can do right now in the next 10 minutes that will take you one step closer to that goal. One step closer to feeling the way you will feel once you've gone through it, right? Once the change has happened. Just one small thing. Write that down in pen and paper, like a commitment, like I'm signing this contract and I'm saying I will do this one small thing. And it's just something that takes less than 10 minutes. It's a baby step. And then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat that every single day. You're going to go back to this cheat sheet, which those of you who joined me in the beginning, you got the URL. I know it's backwards. I'm sorry about that. You're going to download this free cheat sheet, which takes you through that process I just shared. And you're going to review the what and the why and the obstacles and the ideas. And then every day you're going to come up with a new baby step, a new little thing that you can do in less than 10 minutes that takes you towards that goal. Because like compound interest, a 1% change on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, adds up to massive results. That, my friends, is how you change your life in 10 minutes a day. So before I wrap, I just want to say, those of you who joined me late, if you know somebody that you think needs to make a change in their life and would benefit from this, this is live now, but it's going to be on my page recorded. So tag them in the comments so they get to see it, share it with them, let them know. Or if you missed the beginning and you want to get that cheat sheet, just watch the recorded part in the beginning. I share the URL and you'll get it there. And then join me again. I'll be back on tomorrow and I'm going to be talking about another topic related to this. I want you guys to crush it. I want you to live life on purpose. And I don't want you to have that regret of, could I have done something different? And to my cousin Julia, if you watch this broadcast, I love you. It is not your fault. And I didn't want to use a joke in response to your question because it was so heartfelt, but I'm going to use it now just as a little reminder. It's a psychiatrist joke. How many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? I don't know. Does the light bulb want to change? That's really the thing, right? People have to want to change for it to happen. So I love you guys. I'm so glad you joined me today. Here's to changing anything you want in 10 minutes a day and making it awesome. I'll see you soon.